Welcome to our Trump Briefing Show. Today, we're diving into some intense international headlines. First up, Russia has launched nearly 150 drones and airstrikes across Ukraine, causing at least 4 deaths and widespread destruction. The skies are buzzing with tension as both sides report casualties and Russia claims control over parts of the Kursk region. Talk about a high-stakes aerial showdown. Next, Greenland's Prime Minister, Jens-Frederick Nielsen, has made it crystal clear, Greenland is not a piece of property for sale. This comes after former U.S. President Trump's controversial calls to buy the island. Greenlanders and Danes are standing their ground, emphasizing respect and sovereignty, while still remaining open to future talks with the U.S. And finally, in media news, a top D.C. journalist is calling out the media for missing the signs of President Biden's declining cognitive health. With the upcoming election cycle, transparency is more crucial than ever. It's a reminder that investigative journalism plays a vital role in holding leaders accountable. Please continue to watch for more detailed stories and updates. The Toronto Star reports a dramatic escalation in the Ukraine conflict, as Russia launched nearly 150 drones and conducted widespread airstrikes, resulting in multiple casualties and injuries across several Ukrainian cities. The attack followed Russia's claim of regaining control over parts of the Kursk region, although Ukrainian forces indicated ongoing fighting there. Amidst this chaos, U.S. President Donald Trump expressed skepticism about Vladimir Putin's willingness to seek peace, suggesting that the Russian leader has little incentive to end the war, which has persisted for over 3 years. Trump's comments, made shortly after meeting Ukrainian President Zelensky, signaled a shift in U.S. diplomatic stance, with hints at potential sanctions and a more cautious approach to negotiations, emphasizing that a peaceful resolution would require both sides to make difficult concessions. Meanwhile, the BBC highlights the geopolitical tensions surrounding Greenland, as its newly appointed Prime Minister Jens-Frederick Nielsen firmly rejected Donald Trump's repeated suggestions that the island could be bought or controlled by the United States. Nielsen's firm stance underscored Greenland's desire for respect and independence, despite its strategic importance and the U.S.'s long-standing military presence on the island. The Prime Minister's comments came during a visit to Copenhagen, where he and Danish officials reaffirmed their alliance and emphasized that Greenland would never be a piece of property for sale. The controversy over Trump's remarks, which included ideas of military force and mineral exploitation, has strained relations and rekindled discussions about Greenland's future autonomy and its complex relationship with Denmark and the U.S. The Independent sheds light on the internal challenges facing the Biden administration, as a recent White House Correspondents' Dinner revealed concerns about President Biden's health and cognitive decline, which some believe have been inadequately addressed by the media. Axios journalist Alex Thompson received an award for investigative reporting that exposed signs of Biden's mental and physical deterioration, suggesting that the administration and the press have downplayed or concealed these issues. The coverage has fueled criticism from Democrats and Republicans alike, with many questioning whether Biden was fit to run for another term. The revelations have intensified debates about transparency, the integrity of presidential leadership, and the political implications of Biden's health concerns amid a highly contentious election cycle. The South China Morning Post reports that Australia's Prime Minister Anthony Albanese expressed unwavering trust in U.S. President Donald Trump's support for their defense alliance, despite their contrasting values on trade. Albanese emphasized the importance of the alliance, citing support from U.S. lawmakers and the mutual interest in maintaining security, especially given China's regional ambitions. The article highlights Australia's significant military investments, including a $235 billion deal with the U.S. and Britain to develop nuclear submarines, and the ongoing debate over how to address climate change, with the government favoring decarbonization and the opposition proposing nuclear power. The political landscape is tense, with polls showing a narrowing lead for Albanese's Labour Party, and the election campaign focusing heavily on economic issues, foreign policy, and climate strategies. Al Jazeera details Russia's relentless drone and missile attacks across Ukraine, resulting in multiple casualties and widespread destruction. Russian forces launched nearly 150 drones and fired glide bombs into Ukrainian cities like Pavlograd, Kherson, and Odessa, damaging homes and killing civilians, including a couple and a pensioner. Despite Putin's claims of regaining control over parts of the Kursk region, Ukrainian officials insist fighting continues. Meanwhile, former U.S. President Donald Trump cast doubt on Putin's willingness to end the war, criticizing recent missile strikes on civilian areas and suggesting that peace negotiations are unlikely anytime soon. Trump's brief meeting with Ukrainian President Zelensky at the Vatican underscored ongoing diplomatic efforts, with U.S. officials emphasizing the need for a swift resolution to the conflict amid rising tensions and ongoing Russian sabotage, including an alleged assassination plot against a Russian military officer. Foreign policy reflects on the enduring legacy of the Vietnam War, marking its 50th anniversary with a somber reminder of its profound impact on global history and U.S. foreign policy. The conflict, which ended with North Vietnamese forces capturing Saigon, resulted in millions of Vietnamese deaths and over 50,000 American casualties, earning a reputation as one of Washington's greatest foreign policy disasters. Today, the war's shadow persists in diplomatic and cultural spheres, influencing U.S. relations with Vietnam and shaping broader geopolitical narratives. The article explores various perspectives, from psychological warfare tactics used during the war to Hollywood portrayals and the complex historical memory shared by Seoul and Hanoi. It also touches on how the war's lessons continue to inform contemporary debates about military intervention, diplomacy, and the costs of prolonged conflicts. The Yahoo US article vividly recounts the rapid rise of the 50,501 protest movement, sparked by a simple Reddit post that called for nationwide demonstrations against Donald Trump's administration. What began as a decentralized call for a single day of action quickly snowballed into a tidal wave of protests, with tens of thousands rallying across all 50 states and beyond. The movement's core philosophy emphasizes grassroots participation, with volunteers organizing local protests, sharing ideas on social media, and forming small teams that connect to larger state and national efforts. Despite initial skepticism from seasoned activists wary of potential manipulation, the movement's organic growth and partnerships with established groups have solidified its influence. Its emphasis on nonviolence, democracy, and collective action has resonated with a diverse array of participants, from newcomers to veterans of past movements, fueling a surge of activism that refuses to be ignored. The South China Morning Post article paints a stark picture of Taiwan's growing distrust of American support amidst Donald Trump's unpredictable foreign policy moves, especially after the imposition of steep tariffs that blindsided Taipei. Once confident in the U.S. as a reliable partner due to shared democratic values and security commitments, Taiwanese public opinion has shifted sharply, with over half now questioning U.S. reliability. This erosion of trust is compounded by Trump's transactional approach to diplomacy, his tough stance towards Ukraine, and the lack of explicit military assurances for Taiwan's defense. Beijing's increased military pressure and aggressive rhetoric have only heightened Taiwan's fears, with some analysts suggesting that China is exploiting the situation to weaken U.S.-Taiwan ties through psychological warfare, sowing doubts about American commitments and fueling fears of abandonment. The South China Morning Post also explores how Donald Trump's aggressive rhetoric and policies are heavily influencing Canada's political landscape, turning foreign policy into a dominant election issue. The threat of tariffs, trade disruptions, and the potential for strained U.S.-Canada relations have galvanized Canadian voters, with opposition parties criticizing Trump's actions as jeopardizing national interests. Prime Minister Mark Carney's government has responded by emphasizing efforts to diversify trade and safeguard Canadian sovereignty, while opposition figures like Pierre Poilievre have aligned themselves with a more cautious stance. Polls reveal a shifting landscape, with the Liberal Party gaining ground amid fears of economic instability and diplomatic fallout. Ultimately, the election's outcome could significantly impact the future of North American trade and security, highlighting how Trump's unpredictable diplomacy continues to ripple across neighboring countries' political and economic spheres. In his first 100 days, Donald Trump has wielded unprecedented power to reshape American governance, foreign policy, and societal norms, as depicted by the Toronto Star. He has aggressively dismantled the foundations of the New Deal and Great Society, bypassing Congress to impose tariffs on major trading partners, sparking global market turmoil, and asserting a unilateral authority to redefine international alliances, notably with Europe, risking peace and stability. Domestically, he has launched sweeping efforts to overhaul government agencies, including Elon Musk's controversial push to slash federal workforce and cut costs, often with limited analysis and questionable savings. His immigration policies have been among the most severe in U.S. history, deploying military flights and invoking old laws to deport migrants en masse, while claiming to restore national sovereignty. Trump's retaliatory tactics extend to targeting political opponents, prosecutors, and even academic institutions, with executive orders aimed at punishing critics and controlling cultural and media narratives, including a relentless assault on institutions like the NEA and major universities. His confrontational stance has led to numerous legal battles, with courts repeatedly blocking parts of his agenda, yet he continues to challenge the judiciary's authority, hinting at a potential constitutional crisis. In foreign relations, he has abandoned traditional alliances, withdrawn from global agreements, and questioned long-standing commitments, causing allies to doubt U.S. reliability. His administration's approach to public health, energy, and environment reflects a shift toward deregulation and fossil fuel promotion, often at the expense of scientific consensus and climate action. Meanwhile, his relentless war against the press, including lawsuits, court battles, and social media campaigns, underscores a broader effort to control narratives and suppress dissent. Overall, Trump's first 100 days resemble a sweeping, forceful effort to rewrite the American political landscape, centralizing power, undermining institutions, and challenging the very foundations of democracy, marking one of the most tumultuous and transformative early presidencies in U.S. history. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.